Until the invention of the record, the only method for people to experience music was to hear it played live by musicians. In 1943, vinyl becomes the common medium for audio recording. Vinyl proves to be longer lasting, sound better, and be less fragile. Due to issues with portability and pricing, cassette tapes begin to overtake records as the medium of choice. In 1964, cassette tape popularity starts to expand. This is due to the portability and the ability to record music cheaper than it was to buy a record. In the mid 60s, a vinyl album cost $6, while a blank tape was priced at half that. The only added cost to make a copy of music now is the tape recorder. The sound quality of a cassette tape is not as high as that of a record. Despite its shortcomings, the cassette tape would remain the dominant music medium until the early 90s. In 1979, Sony released the Walkman. As the quality of tape recording grew, consumers could now also listen to music while walking around. The tape cassette, and by extension the Walkman, could lead consumers to desire high-quality portable music. In 1982, the first compact disc was released in Japan. 6 years after release, the CD outpaced the sales of cassette tapes. The introduction of the CDs made it portable, high-quality music available to the mass. Eventually, CD sales would start to decline. This is due to a number of new methods of acquiring music. All of these new methods are owed their existence to digital compression. Digital compression is the act of taking a digital signal, traditionally from a CD or other master source, and making the file smaller. This is done for multiple reasons. The reasons include, but not limited to, portability, sharing, and archiving. To initially acquire the music in a digital format, studios use a device called an analog to digital converter. The purpose of the analog digital converter is to take the audio sine wave being produced by the music and turn it into a digital representation. An analog to digital converter works by taking an analog sine wave and cutting it down to a basic small piece. The size of this piece is determined by the sampling rate. The sampling rate is the amount of samples conducted within a period of time. The standard sample rate is 44.1 kilohertz. This means that every second, approximately 44,000 samples are being taken of the audio signal. Depending on the frequency and the amplitude of the music, a different digital number will be assigned to this small piece of sound. The quality of the piece is referred to as the sample precision. The sampling precision is the amount of designators available on the digital end to assign to various sounds in the original audio. Now that the music is in a digital format, it needs to be turned back into an analog signal that humans can hear. This is accomplished by the digital to analog converter. In the majority of instances, the digital to analog converter is located in the device that's being used for playback. The digital to analog converter works under the same exact principles as the analog to digital converter, just in the opposite way. Depending on the sample rate used, the analog signal produced by the digital to analog converter can be a close enough representation of the original sound to not to be noticed by the human ear. The major and most universally accepted method of audio compression is the Motion Pictures Experts Group version 3, better known as MP3. MP3 was created in 1992. Although now known as the best free way to encode music, MP3 was originally created with a profit in mind. At creation, the designers intended MP3 encoders to be expensive and the decoders to be much cheaper. This would allow them to make a profit while still being able to cheaply reach the masses.